So if you recently got into Ice Wars and you're wondering whether or not Fate is good because Fate Heaven's Feel 2 just came out, what I usually do with these videos is I reference the Japanese side of things, and I go on the Twitter pages and look for the last time the set has won a tournament. Unfortunately for Fate, I had to go all the way back to May to find a deck that won. It's probably not won a lot, probably because of the ban and restricted list that exists in GP. Fortunately for us, in English, we don't have a ban and restricted list, so we're going to run under the assumption that we can play the best cards. And the deck that did that is this 2019 WGP winner. It is an 8 gold bar Masters build, Master Character Trait Focus build. So I took this deck and I imported it to Encore deck so we could take a look at it a little bit easier than from just this picture. In 2019 though, this was arguably the best deck in format. It went undefeated to win the World Finals. It also was the most represented deck in Worlds that year. So it was good enough for Bushiroad to ban a lot of the cards. But what I want to do is kind of go over what that deck looked like, because we can play every single card except this card right here, which is a 3/3 event that heals 3 and goes to memory. And in English, what you would do is you would probably sub that out for more cards that heal. You can do that by just clicking the fork button here and then decide whether or not you want to add the new early play Reen that heals from the new set, this character right here, or more Ilias that heal to stock. So it's up to you, pick and choose from what you got. The level 0 lineup kind of looks like this though. It usually would run 4 copies of this stock bomb. If it gets reversed and the character that reversed it is level 0, you can put that level 0 to stock, and then your opponent puts the bottom card of their stock to their waiting room. And then after that happens, you can choose to send this card to memory as long as you have 2 or less cards in memory. A good card, especially in combination with this Clock Encore Shiro that gives all other masters the ability to clock Encore. So you can reuse some of these cards at level 0. This is usually in the back row with this Sakura that's a Brainstormer. It's a self-tap Brainstormer that salvages, that doubles down as a bar filter. And remember, this deck is a gold bar. So what would happen is whenever you would trigger a gold bar, you would choose to take your blind stock or not, and then you can choose to ditch a card, usually the bar, to get a card from your stock, and then take a damage from the top of your deck. So a pretty strong effect. The decks would usually run 1 or 2 copies of this Drop Search. You don't run a lot of copies because it's not a Master's card. And another card that you would run is 4 copies of this Ilia that has the Akatsuki effect. You ditch a card, top check 4, up to 4, so you can stop at 1, 2, or 3, and put a master traded character to your hand. At level 1, you run this combo that is on reverse. Search for a master servant character, 4 copies. 4 copies of this. It's a clock bomb. So as long as they have a card in clock, if it's a cost 0, that cost 0 card, you can choose to send it to their clock. Your opponent heals 1 and then puts that card to clock. And it also doubles down as another bar filter, so you can ditch a climax and choose a master servant character to salvage. Pretty strong card. Decks would run 2 or 3 copies of this stock swap, and it's at level 1, so it's really, you can get it out really early. And the condition is if you have 3, you have to have 3 green characters in play to do it, which is easily done, especially with all the filtering power this deck has. So not that hard to do. You really have more of an issue getting it to hand than you do playing it. At level 2, you would run 4 copies of this free fresh. So you can free fresh as long as you have 5 or less cards in deck, and then after you do that, you can choose to draw. You can draw cards. So this is essentially a pay 1, heal 1, draw 1. So this is one of the banned cards that this is one of the banned and restricted cards on that list that we were talking about in JP. The deck would also run one of this bottom decker bomb. So when it gets reversed by an early play, you can choose to bottom deck it. Nowadays, you would probably want to sub this out for maybe the 1/1 rider that does the same thing, or you can choose to run the anti-heroic spirit rider, which is also good as a early play killer that also doubles down as a level 2 killer. At this time, like, this was a tech card because you were playing a lot of Nexo walls and you would probably be running into the mirror match, so you could probably choose to sub something out for this on play saver that bounces a card on play and kind of doubles down as kinda an extra climax, because you can pay 1, ditch 1, and then all your characters get plus 500 power and plus 1 soul, so kind of strong. Depending on your meta. The deck would also run 2 copies of this Brilliant Smile Sakura. It is a level assist times 500 to characters in front of it, and on play salvage, and has the act effect rest the card to put a master or servant character from your waiting room to stock, so stock charges. The level 3 combo that this deck would play would be this rider that on play heals, and when it attacks you can pay 2 ditch a card for the following 2 effects. Till the end of your opponent's next turn, the character facing this card can't front attack, and it also gets negative 3k, so if your opponent puts a level 0 card in front of it that doesn't have at least 3k power, that character automatically dies. So pretty strong card. It usually fogs the lane, so you usually take 0 damage in the lane that this card is put in, unless of course they blink it. So still strong at the time. Even now it's still strong. The deck would usually run 1 copy of this Heroic Spirit Caster that on play usually checks 5, because you would run this whenever you have 5 cards in 5 masters or servant characters in play. So X would be 5, you would top check 5, add a card to hand, and it doubles down as a restander when you get a reverse. It has the auto effect pay 4, ditch 2 cards to restand. So nowadays you would probably sub this out for this Sakura that is an Icy Tail for a cheaper cost. So if you're looking for an extra instance of damage, this also top check 2 and gets a card, so it's not as selective but still nets you 1 card, and it's a cheaper cost than the caster. The deck would run 1 or 2 copies of this Ilya that is an on play ditch a card, heal to stock. It is an early play, so you can, but the condition is having the Mad Warrior Berserker in your clock. But a lot of players just played it for the extra heal at level 3, so they don't play the early play condition. But if you want to play the early play condition, you can. That's about it though. The changes that I see you might want to make is probably, instead of running an extra Ilya, you can run the early play Reen. So it's up to you, you know, fork the deck, and I'll leave it up to you.
Right, the purpose of this video is to simulate what a typical level 3 combo turn will look like with Unrestricted Fate. First of all, let's take a look at our board. Our board is always going to be 1 Shiro and 1 Sakura, and this is going to be our hand. You'll have the entire hand to get these 4 cards in your hand, which is very, very easy to do. Gold bar automatically goes to your hand. Early game, you'll prioritize the Sakura, and then you'll sculpt for the level 3, and at some point in time, you'll get the level 3 event. And this is and the event doesn't exist in English, so I'm going to use the Shiro level 3 as the 3/3 heal 3 event that goes to memory. But to simulate this a little better, let's add some stuff to our waiting room, shuffle a little bit, and add our stock. Normally what will happen is by level 3 you'll have 9 stock. And let's keep this realistic. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And let's say, because we blind stock a lot, we're playing a gold bar, we get rid of two climaxes. Just bad luck, you know, but I want to keep it realistic. And that does happen with Fate. Fate does blind stock climaxes. Let's give it a good shuffle. Okay, and this is our level 3 turn that we're about to take. Let's put half of it, half our deck into our waiting room, and let's reference it. Let's see what we got. 1, 2, 3, and we got 4 in hand. And we'll just assume, just by knowledge of our deck, our waiting room, and the amount of times we blind stocked, let's say we're running under the assumption we got 1. We actually have 2 because we looked at our stock, but we're gonna run under the assumption we got 1. So that's 4 or 5 out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, but it's actually 6, but in our minds we have 5. So we'll draw. Whatever we draw, we clock. Doesn't really matter. We'll draw 2. Ooh, that's information right there. Okay. Okay, we can work with that. Alright, let's push this to front. Let's see how many we have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. We will actually crash 2 lanes and get a free fresh. This is how, and we have a tracker right here for how many level 3 turns we can take. So how do we get a free fresh? Well, when we play this card right here, 1, 2, it's on play, salvage any card. Let's look for Mr. Free Fresh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's take a better guess at what's here, because we blind stock a lot. 1, 2. Oh, we hit now we have more information. Now we know there's either 1 more in here or none in here, but let's just, for example, say that we don't really care. I mean, we know, but we don't really care. We're safe here. We're gonna heal 1. Then we will stock 1 with the act effect of a Sakura. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We still need to mill 4. Actually, we need to mill 3. Okay, to have the free fresh. So what we'll do is we'll just pay 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Brainstorm. I've played Fate a long time, so, and I have an extra bar in hand, so this is actually the right play to do. The right play is to do to get the Sakura, to ditch a climax, to refresh better, to salvage a card that we'll need next turn, which will be, usually we want the rider to finish off the game, but the rider's already in our hand, so we'll just get another copy of the combo. Okay, let's add that to hand. Let's play over. Pay 1. Oh, there's the other one. Free fresh. One, 2, 3. Draw 1. Okay. And let's continue our turn. Let's switch these. You know, we need the power to go to the rider. Okay, let's take our turn. Climax combo. Crash here into their early play for 2. I don't care if they take it. We're just keeping track of how many level 3 turns we can take. Crash again. Ooh. We'll take the blind stock. We actually do need a little bit of stock to do this twice next turn. But triggering a bar doesn't really matter when the combo is pay 2, ditch 1. Boom. Damn. Pay 2, ditch 1. And now they can front attack and we kill whatever's there. Normally what would happen is they'll put a level 2 or 1 here inside just for the resource, just for the stock, so that they can pay for their level 3 combo 2 times. So they'll just attack for nothing here and then do their combo twice here. Let's say, for example, for this exercise, their combo is pay something, ditch something, burn 2. Boom. We burn 2, and now let's say they get lucky and they don't trigger, and directing for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, cancel. Let's say they don't get lucky here and they do trigger. So they'll attack, on attack, pay something, ditch something, burn 2. We'll take the 2. Then they direct for 5. 1, 2, cancel. Now we'll take another turn. This is our second level 3 turn. We are at 3, 4 and are about to go all the way back down to 3, 0. Let's see here. Okay, let's not clock. Let's add 1 card to stock. Boom. Count how many cards are left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 19 cards left. If we're going for a refresh, we would have to hit twice here, which is not very likely. So, and we need the stock to combo again, which isn't going to happen this turn. So let's just play to heal down back to 3 and snipe off their level 3 combos. So I'll pay 2, heal 1, then use the 3 event, pay 3, heal 3, goes to memory. Okay, and we will play Sakura, ditch a climax, salvage a card we'll need next turn. Normally, it's time to go for your kill turn. Now, I already had a Scander Rider, which is what I use to finish off games, but you can use whatever you want. But let's say, for example, you didn't already have it in hand. We just got it because of luck. We usually finish off next turn, because who's gonna survive? Who's gonna survive 3 turns at level 3? Not a lot of people. Okay, so we will crash 1 lane, bigger, boom. Then pass turn, and see how well we cancel, or bank on our compression. And the fact that we healed back down to 3-0. Normally what will happen is they'll put a 1 or 0 here and attack for 2. Right, they're directing. They'll do 2, 2, 2. 1, cancel. Let's say they get lucky, they draw a level 2, they kill something. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Normally what will happen is they run out of hand at around this point in time because they paid so many resources for the level 3 combo, and I'm just actually kind of big here. You get 500 level assist from the Sakura, so they'll probably lose a card here as well, and they'll attack for another 2 here. We'll take the 2. Now we should be thinking free fresh, right? We should be thinking free fresh, and going down to 5 cards, which is doable. And check how many we have out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out. So very unlikely to actually hit on a brainstorm for that free fresh. But we could just draw into the free fresh, or draw into another Sakura to salvage the free fresh. Or, you know, just draw and take our level 3 turn, because this is our 3rd turn at level 3. Who's gonna survive that? Who's gonna survive that? And we got 2 Iskanders. Oh no. Not like this. We'll probably skip, we'll skip the clock phase, who cares? Yeah, sure, you can clock, doesn't really matter. Pay 2 Iskander, pay 2 Iskander. Let's say these two are also small. And remember, they went over here, and now we are bigger here, so now them reversing us actually is actually like a detriment to them now, because now I can reverse them back. We will, though the right correct order, it doesn't really matter, you know, this is our third level 3 turn. We'll attack, reverse, pay 1, shoot the clock, do the same thing here. Ooh, get a blind stock, put the hand, pay 1, blind stock, kick the clock, and then attack here. Boom. And that's how you get a lot of level 3 turns with Unrestricted Fate, with the level 3 event that heals for 3. It doesn't exist, but I mean, you can kind of replicate it just by adding more healers. That's not what I do with the deck, but you know, there's a lot of things you could do. You can add the Reen from Heaven's Field 2, or you could play with the Ilya from Heaven's Field 1.
Okay, out of respect for the player that won a tournament with the deck here on the bottom right, I imported it into Encore deck so we can take a closer look at it. Even though in English we can use the better cards, you can easily fork the deck and make decisions on what you want to take out and put in there. So starting with the level 0 game, this player ran 4 copies of the Rider, that's a Ricky. Pay 1, take 1 damage, and you get to salvage a Master Servant character. Has another auto effect that says, when damage dealt by this card is cancelled, you can put it into stock. The player ran 2 copies of this Clock Bomb, that's for level 0s, and on attack has another auto effect. Look at the top 2 cards, put one back on top and the other one into the waiting room. 2 copies of this Devilish Smile Rain, that's a lot like the Clock Encore Shiro. The Clock Encore Shiro gives that effect to other masters. This ring gives that effect to other Reen and Archer characters. Cold Attitude Reen, this is a free runner. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can move it to an open position on your center stage. But when you attack with it, you have to rest the rest of your standing characters, so attack order matters with this card. This player ran 1 copy of this Climax Ditch Salvage that also lets you play a little minigame with your opponent. When you put it into play, your opponent declares the number 0, 1, 2, or 3. Then you mill the top card and you draw X plus 1, where X, if X matches the number that your opponent chose. So you gotta get a little lucky to plus here, but you can still use it as a climax ditch effect. This player ran 4 copies of this Ilya, that's in Akatsuki. On play, ditch a card from your hand and you get to look at up to 4 cards and add a master traded character into your hand. Okay, this player ran the cigarette combo at level 1. On play, it gets plus X power. X is equal to the number of master or servant characters you have times 500, so that counts herself. And the cigarette combo, which is the mill 2 on attack, and then you get to salvage a character equal to the number of levels milled. 3 copies of this level 1 Brainstormer that has another auto effect that says when one of your characters becomes reversed, you can choose another one of your characters and that character gets 1k power. 3 copies of this Amagi Rin that has a couple abilities. When you attack with it, the opponent can't play any event cards from hand. During your turn it gets plus 2k power. All your other characters get plus 500. And the Amagi effect, which is when you play a climax, pay 1 and you can look up to 4 cards and then you choose a master or servant character to put to your hand. Has another act effect. Act, pay 1, and you can choose one of your opponent's level 0 characters and put it into their waiting room. This player ran 2 copies of this Ilya that gives power to the characters in front of it. It gives plus 1/5 and has the act ability, rest this card, choose a card from your hand and put it into stock. He also ran 1 copy of this backup Ilya that gives 3/5 power, because you will pay 1, back up for 2/5, and then when you back up, you give another 1k. You're trying to save this card right here, your early play. This Reen has an early play condition. If you have 2 or less climaxes in your waiting room, then you can early play it at level 2. Your finisher, which is this Icy Tail for 6. On play, on play, draw 2, ditch 1. And then when you play the climax that combos with it, Deep Love, you can, and you attack with it. On attack, you can put the top 3 cards of your deck into your stock, which then you can use to pay for the auto effect, pay 3, ditch 1, to Icy Tail your opponent for 6 cards. And then you're trying to scum cancels with this event, 3/1 Jeweled Sword Zelrich. If you control another Jewel character, which is the whole reason why you want to pump power to this Reen, so you can let it survive to use the Zelrich sword, or just have either the Brainstormer or the Amagi in the back row. You can use this event, which says, if you have another Jewel character, this card cannot be played. Put this card to memory. Choose one of your opponent's characters in battle, and that character gets +X soul till the end of turn. X equals the number of Jeweled Sword Zelrich in your memory times 4. So they attack and they increase their soul by 4 for each Zelrich event in memory. So they'll be overswinging, but you still have to have this in hand. So you're making some deck slot concessions, but it worked for this guy, so you can give it a try and see how it works for you. This player also ran 2 copies of this 3/2 Ilya that is on play stock heal. On play ditch a card and you can heal to stock. It also sits big at 11k if you have a full field. So you can also play it as an early play, but this player didn't choose to play it as an early play. He just chose to play it at level 3 as just an additional heal to stock. So that's the deck. So I mean, we have a lot of options with the new set and with no ban and restricted list. So it's going to be interesting to see what people use in English.